we were discussing inflation and recession that is going to come. We were talking about Larry Summers, Naval Ravikant, Popper, and the great
Soros.
Soros. So continue with the discussion.
So let's circle back onto the point of Larry Summers and your wage inflation and Keynes. So Keynes and you have echoed his sentiments, Keynes' sentiments, maybe 70 years after he died. But basically, what Keynes said was what you had said, where wages are going to be sticky and it's going to be very tough for you to break wages. So, coming to that point, this is another concept which you and I have discussed personally, and you have written about and you have made videos on. How does the Philip curve work? How does it fit into the scenario? And how do you think the Philip curve looks in this current scenario where we were discussing about US inflation?
Philip is actually a New Zealand economist, who was the first one post Keynes. This
Right.
is post Keynes,
Yeah.
who said there is a relationship between inflation and employment.
Yeah.
And there is this element that higher inflation gives you higher employment.
Yes.
So initially it looks very good.
Yeah.
And that is why you want a certain amount of inflation. And by the 1970s, there was a concept called Nairu.
Nairu.
The concept of Nairu is, I'll let you give the full expansion. The concept of Nairu is that Philip curves breaks down at a particular point. That is, if you push unemployment below a particular natural rate, that's where the N comes. If you push it down below the natural rate, inflation will go off the roof. So,
To
100
clarify, push it down meaning full employment.
full employment.
Yeah.
If you push it down to full employment, inflation is going to go out of control. So, it is in a society, it is not possible to have 100% employment, and this is the correction to Phillips curve. So, what is the Nairu? Varies from economy to economy to the condition to several other factors. But all of us agree there is a Nairu. India's Nairu is extremely high because our labor participation is very low.
So our natural rate of unemployment is very high.
Very high. The natural rate of unemployment in America is also at a particular point. The Fed has altered its mandate to say that employment is also their problem.
Their problem.
Their problem. Therefore, there is a conflicting thing. You cannot be targeting inflation
And employment.
unemployment because they are inversely linked. But the politician wants you to do that.
So before we continue on that note, when Volcker had done what he had done to strangle inflation in the past, unemployment was never a concern of the Fed.
No, it was not.
Only inflation.
Money inflation.
And the money supply.
And the money supply.
Okay.
Now you have brought in employment. You have made the office of the Federal Reserve a political office.
This is like the donkey, the father and the son story.
This is like the donkey, the father and the son story. And this is why I believe that Jerome Powell will blink.
You don't think he can take this pressure?
He will not be able to take the pressure because the whole world will be screaming at you. And you should be able to do what you are doing.
Yeah.
Now, if he leaves the job half done, inflation will return with a vengeance.
So it's going to be even worse than what we are seeing today.
Exactly. In fact, in our private conversation, I showed you that when you were born or 1 year after you were born, I was paying 3,500 rupees for my driver.
Yes.
That was a good rate then.
That was a good rate, yeah.
Today we pay 18,000 rupees to a driver.
Right.
With overtime, he gets 19 or 20. That shows you how much above inflation we have gone.
Yeah.
Of course, not many people want to be drivers, so it has gone up.
Right.
It's a skilled job.
So I guess demand supply has some role to play, but the fact remains that wages have gone up higher than...
Way beyond inflation.
Yeah. And if you look at IT jobs, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So...
Yeah.
But the entry-level IT job has remained same.
The top line...
The kids who have gone and joined college, were making 15,000 then, are making about 25 to 30,000 rupees
so
today.
That's a demand supply.
That's a demand supply problem.
Okay.
But overall, in all sectors, wages have gone out of the roof. I was paying 20 rupees to the doctor. Today, an MBBS will ask 150. And 150 is a very conservative estimate.
It's a very conservative estimate.
So, all services have gone up. You take your haircut or you take anything. Nobody measures that in India.
The earliest price I remember paying for a haircut was and this was in 2007 or 8, that was about $80 or $70.
Okay, now how much do you pay?
Around 300, 350 if it's a reasonable barber.
Okay. If you go to an ordinary barber, you pay 200 rupees.
Yes, 200, 250.
Yeah. So you have the same barber who cut you for 80 rupees is going to ask 3 times the money.
Yes.
So this shows that wage inflation has gone extraordinarily up high over the last 15, 16 years. And that is what is keeping inflation extremely high. Wages cannot run ahead of
Inflation.
or ahead of growth. You have to have an increase in productivity to have
Match the increase in wages.
wages above inflation.
Right.
Right. Our productivity has not gone up.
So our real GDP has to grow at a pace which can keep up with your wage inflation.
Yes. But wage inflation has gone up even
Above.
higher than nominal GDP.
Right.
And that is the reason that inflation is persistent. In the Western world, what happened is they stopped manufacturing and they shifted everything to China.
Right.
And perfected a technology of just in time where they were bringing everything from China and Asia.
So you had artificially deflated prices.
You had artificially deflated prices, and every time there was a crisis, you were pumping it, feel good. And even in China, in America, the middle class died. There was no middle class. The middle class wages were not going up.
Right.
Because there were no jobs. The jobs were already gone to China.
Yeah.
Who was making the money? The top 1%, top 2% were making money.
So that's why people in the US complain about wages not going up according to inflation.
Exactly. This is the first time that lower middle class wages is going up, and that is why inflation has come. The switch to China meant that you destroyed the middle class. The middle class could not simply afford.
Yeah.
So if you look at, especially in places like California, in San Francisco and other cities, there are a lot of homeless people.
Yeah.
And what happened is fiscalization of profits. Guys who operated in stock markets, who were in investment, made outrageous profits
Because of the punch bowl.
because the punch bowl. And the punch bowl ensured that lot of money went to Silicon Valley, and those who were highly skilled made lot more money,
Right.
leaving middle class America completely exposed.
Destitute.
And this is the first time that wage inflation has come
and seeped into the middle class.
If you remember Kamala Harris and the other Alexandria Cortez or whatever
AOC.
name, yeah, whatever she says, they have been talking about Bernie Sanders. All this is a rise of the American middle class, which was left out of this
loop.
Now what has happened is nobody is talking of minimum wages.
Right.
Because the wages demanded are way, way above the
goalpost has shifted.
The goalpost has shifted.
Right.
And I believe that America has gone below the Nairu.
Right.
And that is why inflation is really going up.
Yeah.
And so interest rates have to go up. And if interest rates go up, there will be pain in growth. There will be recession. There will be loss of jobs. It will be very unpopular. Whether he is willing to do it, I don't know.
So you mentioned a very key point. You said that inflation had actually shot, or rather, unemployment had decreased beyond the natural rate of unemployment.
Yes, it has.
And that's a key point because it also means that even a minor increase in interest rates, although it won't be minor, a harsh increase in interest rates is going to completely go the other way. It's going to be a landslide, right?
It's going to be a hard landing.
Yeah.
But I think he'll chicken out halfway.
So you don't even think he'll get to the landing part?
He won't get. I think people are telling at 3.5 he will drop out. Right? He is now 1.5 to 1.75 or 1.75 to 2.
Right.
If he does 75 and 50, he's going to be at 3.25, 3 to 3.25.
So him and the bond markets are playing a game of chicken.
They are playing the game of chicken. Whether he will chicken out, he should say till it comes to 2%, till I get a reading of 2%.
In metrics,
I will keep increasing interest rates, either 0.75, 0.5 or 0.25.
Whatever is necessary.
Releasing these minutes and what went on and all that is absolute nonsense. The market should be surprised because you cannot tame the market. You cannot have a Goldilocks scenario where you don't surprise the market at all and you be a nice kid all the time.
Right. He has to strike fast.
Yeah. So, like Carter lost the election,
Yeah.
Biden may have to lose the election.
To pay the price for America's future.
Yes.
Okay, and that brings me to cryptocurrencies. So, interestingly, in headlines today, or not today, but recently, there has been information about crypto firms buying out other crypto firms, which are less leveraged.
Bad apples. These are good apples becoming bad apples. I saw one of the crypto evangelists say, cryptos have no assets. He said, except ideology.
So, he's now shifted the goalpost from asset to ideology.
His asset itself is ideology and momentum.
Okay,
Momentum requires liquidity.
yes. Punch bowl is required.
Yes. And what is ideology? You have free markets where you can disrupt
Yeah,
currency.
yes.
The problem is there is one Bitcoin, and it became very funny. One Bitcoin is valuable, one Ethereum is valuable. You have bloody 2,500 tokens.
Yeah.
So, what is to distinguish between Ethereum and Bitcoin? Why is Bitcoin at 22,000, Ether at only at less
Yeah.
than 1,000?
There's no logical
There's
answer.
no logical answer.
All of the same ideology.
So, why should I pick something and not pick up something else? You have no answer. I can create another 2,500. So, the guy who's an evangelist told on television that he prefers regulation.
He prefers
regulation
on cryptocurrency.
on
And his
cryptocurrencies.
entire ideology
He is against regulation.
okay.
And he said only X number of cryptocurrencies which should be allowed. Then who to decide which cryptocurrency?
That defeats the purpose.
That defeats the entire purpose. Therein lies the argument that cryptos are dead.
Yeah.
When Talib wrote his paper in 2021, he had to lock his account because people were abusing him.
Yes.
Luckily in India it was not so bad. I did get abused, but cryptos were bad. And they were weapons of mass destruction.
Still are.
Lots of people have lost everything in their life. They have been in mental asylums. I read in Guardian about a guy who lost everything and he's in a mental asylum. That is, he's not
He wasn't able to cope up with
he's
it.
not able to cope up with the pressure. And he's saying, why didn't I pick it up at the top?
Oh, hindsight bias.
Hindsight bias.
Right.
But nobody knows which is the top. Nobody knows which
is the bottom.
bottom.
That's what you keep saying. And the logic with indexing is that you don't care which is the top, or bottom, you keep buying.
So this is what Soros's elder brother,
Paul Soros.
Paul Soros, who financed him, kept saying. You learn to survive, the rest is easy.
Right.
The problem with crypto and other fancy things is you cannot even survive. And 40 years is a long time. You have had two generations who have forgotten there is something called inflation.
Right. So I'll quickly run you through the details of this crypto firm buying other firms. So there's this man who is the CEO of FTX, a crypto firm called FTX.
Sam Backman.
Yes.
He fancies himself as the JP Morgan of cryptos.
And he calls himself SBF.
Yes.
And he has acquired a company called Bitbo in Canada for some $1 billion, a few $1 billion. It's undisclosed, so we don't know. He has given $400 million of credit facility to BlockFi. He has given he had given $485 million of credit facility to another lending firm called Voyager.
Yeah, but Voyager has now collapsed.
Bankrupt. They used $75 million, then they went bankrupt.
Exactly. So I am for sure, as the interest rates go up, more dominoes will tumble.
Right.
Whether it will get to him, I do not know.
Yeah.
But as of now, there are two large indices.
FTX and Binance.
Binance and Coinbase. I think all three, both or two, or one of them will go bankrupt.
And it will become an oligopoly. It's already an oligopoly.
It's already an oligopoly, which is again defeats their ideology.
Right. It becomes a cartel, which is what he's trying to do. He's trying to build a cartel for himself.
And now, you said that you are going to crypto because you don't believe fiat currency.
Right.
But you have here evangelists asking for
Fiat
regulation. It's not going to work.
Right.
The same thing that happened to cryptos now happened in 1920s to the banking sector. This is absolutely nothing new.
Right.
Contagion will happen It will crash.
But what do you mean it's the same thing which has happened to the banking sector?
Because you didn't have a strong central banker. The
Okay,
central banker was not the lender of the last resort.
right.
So you allowed banks to collapse.
And you had the big ones come in and swoop in.
Yes. So to stall the collapse of banks was the main role of the central banker.
Right,
So anybody who had a deposit was assured after the depression that he would get his money back.
right.
That is the role, that is the compact between the central bank and a bank which has a commercial license. But the cryptos don't have a central bank. The secret of the central bank is it can create unlimited money.
Yeah.
But the idea of crypto is you cannot create unlimited money,
Yeah.
and therefore you cannot have a central bank.
It's a deflationary currency.
It's a deflationary currency.
Right.
So you cannot have a central bank.
Yeah.
So the model that was used to fix the the fiat currency,
The old guard. Yeah.
the old currency,
Yeah.
cannot be used to fix this. There have been several times in history when currency has gone off gold and returned to gold.
Right.
Even when the gold standard was there, till finally Nixon took it off the gold.
Yeah.
That means you have unlimited license to print.
So the gold.
But if I am going to have a crypto bank,
Yeah.
central bank, which has unlimited resource to
Then
create,
what's the difference?
what is the difference? There's no difference.
And that brings me to an article I read in Farnham Street, which I know you also read. It's about this concept called Chesterton's fence, which basically there's a man who was called Chesterton, and he said that you can't remove the fence unless you tell me one good reason for why it was placed in the first place. So without understanding why the fence was placed, I will not let you remove the fence.
Exactly.
The trend which I noticed with cryptocurrency enthusiasts, although they have great pursuits and great intentions, they don't understand why the fence has been.
See, there is Naval Ravikant talks of physics.
Right.
These guys are software coders.
Yes.
They are science guys.
Great at what they do.
They are science guys.
Yeah.
Currency and economics is a social science. That cannot be falsified is not science.
Right.
This is what happens when you think there is no difference between social science and
Normal science.
Physical science.
And you stay within your circle of competence. Right. As Charlie Munger says.
Yes, you stay well within your circle of competence, then you won't come to grief. You learn to survive, as Soros says.
Right.
The rest is easy. Thank you for watching. Be Rich. If you like this content, kindly hit the like button, press the subscribe button, turn on the bell notification. If you do not turn on the bell notification, you will not be notified every time we put out a video. Once again, I thank you for your support to Be Rich. I have written 2 books in English, The Alchemy of Money and Ordinary Stocks, Extraordinary Profits. These books are published by us and are ready. If you want to procure a copy, send us a message to the WhatsApp number given below and my team would respond to you. If you want an Amazon Kindle copy, you can click the link below. Finally, those who wish to consult with me can send a mail to berichenglish@gmail.com. Once again, I thank you for your support. If you like this video, press the subscribe button of my channel, hit the like button and turn on the bell notification.